And we're back here on Liquid Lunch, and we've got Alixe MacRae here talking about downsizing seniors, and you got some interesting problems you have to deal with sometimes, Alixe, like the gunpowder.
Well, gunpowder is only allowed to be disposed of by the OPP or the local police.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just sulfur, charcoal, and potassium nitrate. I mean, can't you just blow that stuff up if you have to?
Well, the movers won't move it, and it's illegal to flush it down the toilet.
Oh, okay. All right. What were they doing with so much gunpowder?
He was a skeet shooter. He made his own cartridges.
Oh, okay.
So this is somebody that you had to downsize. Can you give us the story?
Well, an absolutely delightful man, but he had spent his life skeet shooting with the DuPonts, among others. And so he had his own cartridge making equipment and a lot of gunpowder, which he didn't want to get rid of, but the mover won't move it. I can't put it in my car, so you call the OPP.
There you go.
And they arrive with full vests and want to know whether the bomb squad should be called. And I said, it's a canister of gunpowder. Get over it.
Well, okay, so, no, but this is very timely. It seems that a lot of people are going through the, dealing with their parents, or if they're an elder themselves, they're going through the process of downsizing, going to the next step, whether it's a retirement village or whatever. And so, and also I'm hearing about what you're doing for the first time. Maybe not today, but recently, that there are people like you that go around helping people deal with this situation.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so needed, and so many people are going through it, and it's such a poignant time in life. My mother recently had to downsize, and it's very impactful on the family, not to mention her.
It's emotionally very, very trying, because in a lot of cases they're giving up what they think of being part of themselves, who they are.
Right. Yes, their identity. Everything that... It's interesting. I think a lot of people don't think of it that way. They don't realize that so much of how we identify who we are, our sense of power in the world, is from these different sources of power, of just, yes, I have my own apartment keys and I run my own home, I do my own bank account. In her case, it had to do with she could no longer do those things. And yet your home, your neighborhood, your friends, your family, your neighbors, to have all that shift can be really impactful.
And the thing I find is a lot of the kids, they're spending so much time and energy taking care of the parent, they don't want to take care of the stuff. Because 1 in 11 people over the age of 65 get dementia. There are a lot of issues with people. So if you're going to focus on being the caring son, grandson, daughter, often you have no time left for the things.
And so what is your role? How do you come in, Alixe? How do you help people out, and how did you come into doing this?
I moved my mother, who's now 92, and shredded 50 large bags of paper. She had receipts from 1953. That was that age. And so I set up my own business. I spent years being a retail executive with Sears in the Bay. So I knew how to manage a project. And essentially I come in and I do what they don't want to do. I normally start with a digital inventory.
What does that mean?
I go in with my camera, I take pictures of all the major things, I print them off, I give them all a number, I put everything on an Excel spreadsheet and put it in a bright pink, bright orange, lime green binder, so it's not confused with the black ones and the white ones. Therefore, particularly if they're not in that home that they're closing, they don't have to feel foolish. They don't say to me, what table is this?
Right.
They have a number on the picture and they have the description, and on the Excel spreadsheet they can give it to Hugh, they can give it to Vanessa, they can give it to their local church, synagogue, mosque, or they can garbage it. but it puts a level again of control
Yeah, order and control and organization, the very
back
thing
in
that they're
their
not
hands.
feeling. Right.
So they can figure out, okay, this is going to go to such and such, this is going to go here, this is where that went,
Wow.
all that kind of stuff.
That is phenomenal. I thought you were going to say, well, you know, I come in and we take the stuff away and we put it where they want to put it. But no, it's very much offering a level of control that they no longer have, an organization, order, right at a time of chaos. I remember when I went through that journey with my mother, the last thing I could do was think straight, you know? So this would be tremendously...
Yeah, it seems like that's one of the big problems too, is nobody really wants to do this, because you go into the house, everybody's got so much, whether you want to call it memories or emotion, invested in everything about it. Like, for example, this is why people can't move themselves, even moving. Well, this is moving. They can't do it. They're so, you know, where you get the movers, they come in and they just want to get the job done as quickly as possible. Is that, now, I mean, you did it for your own mother. Did you have difficulty going through that process, or were you able to kind of somehow...
My mother is a control freak. She had everything planned down to the last moment. I was simply the person doing the shredding, taking the photo albums to the recycling bin.
Executing the orders.
Yes, I saluted while I did what I did. But there are people, like one gentleman, who had to put his hip waders in storage because he saw himself as still being a fisherman, and if he got rid of the hip waders, he was no longer himself.
Yeah, that's a great to put it. If he got rid of the hip waders, he was no longer himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that would help a lot of people understand why we get so stymied by decluttering, why we get so stymied by moving ourselves, because there is so much emotion and memory, identity. It's our very identity. Yeah.
That's why when I talk to people about decluttering, I say, I got rid of some $400 pair of Italian shoes. They were sitting in the box for 2 years. My feet weren't going to get any smaller. I envisioned the woman coming into the Goodwill store and paying $10 for the $400 pair of shoes. And that made me feel a lot better than keeping it in my closet.
Yeah.
So what you do is you just have to twist your mind to what you're doing as being positive.
So you're helping people shift how they see things, how they hold them in their minds. I mean, it's very much similar to what I do at the Donald Curry Clinic, where we're working with hypnotherapy and NLP. It's teaching people, educating people how to see things differently, how to hold them differently, how to view them. That's awesome. And what is do you find you have a lot of conversations with people to help them understand the letting go process in new ways?
Yes, I do presentations at libraries. I'll be doing one in the spring for the Scarborough retired teachers. So I do a lot of presentations, no charge, just education on how to begin the process and how to manage it so you're not getting overwhelmed, stressed out, and feel as if you've accomplished nothing. Because in my business, I'm invited into their home. If they don't see me and hear me, they don't want me in their home. I could be an axe murderer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's important to get in front of the people
Wow.
and let them know who you are.
And how do you get those gigs? How do you find those places to speak?
Well, people
Sorry.
tell people. So you do one, and the librarian tells 3 friends, and one of the people at the presentation is part of this organization or that.
Yeah.
So
Word of mouth.
it is.
So would you say that this is something that anybody dealing with this situation should get a professional, somebody like you, to come in and help with the process, or, you know, or can people do it themselves?
The consultation is free. I average 1 pro bono a month. So I would say most of my clients would say I saved them a lot more money than I cost.
Yeah.
No, how do you save the money? Where does how do you do that?
Well, number one, I search where they're going to go. I search the bed bug registry. I preview it myself. So I'm not putting them in a bed bug infested environment or a place that's a potential slum. I, if you pardon the expression, suck up to the superintendent so that it will be there the next day when they see it.
So you help place the people as well?
I work with movers. I work with designers. I have a background in the home furnishings industry, so I know the cheapest place to get furniture in the city.
Wow. So can you give us a step-by-step process? Let's say I hired you to to help me and my parents, assist them in a transition from their home into a new downsized situation. What would the step-by-step ways be that you would help them?
Well, first off, I'd want to know where they want to live. Some people want proximity to hospitals, some of them to public transit, some of them want to be able to walk to the grocery store, some people just want to be close to their kids. So we have to find out what's going to make them happy, and location is number one.
Yeah.
Number two, if it's a retirement home, is the food. Number three is the activities. Number four is the culture. I went into one place and I said, "What's the culture?" She said, "University Women's Club." Some people would be very comfortable, some people would feel alienated. So you have to know these things.
You know, that's really interesting, because a lot of people wouldn't even think of thinking about all those things, right? And you've broken it down in a systematic way here. So it sounds like almost anybody who's dealing with this situation would be wise to call in a professional like yourself.
We can give them guidance. Most of the time the consultation is no charge. They can get some ideas and then decide whether they want to hire you or not.
Yeah, awesome. So if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that? Do you have a website or?
Yes, I do. It's conciergerelocation.com.
conciergerelocation.com.
And you deal all over Toronto and?
Fergus, Caledon, because a lot of people are moving back into the city.
So you work outside the Toronto area as well?
Where are you based?
I live at Eglinton and Bathurst.
Yeah.
So I can get to the 401 in no time.
And
even if you have to turn, oh yeah, sorry. Go
and
ahead.
please give us your full name again.
Alixe MacRae, ALIXE MACRAE, and my cell phone is 647-228-9205.
Alex, it sounds like the work that you do is invaluable. It's priceless. I think when you think of all the layers of emotion and angst, as you say, overwhelm, stress, disorganization, confusion, not knowing certain things, this is one of the most important life cycle changes to go through. And it sounds as though what you're providing is absolutely priceless and invaluable.
And it's kind of weird just how when we need it, here you are. So thanks for being with us today, Alex.
It's a pleasure.
It was great. So let's take a little break right now, and we're going to come back with our next guest, Donald Curry.
Absolutely,
who I
yes.
understand you know,
Yes.
Taylor. So a quick break, come back with Donald Curry, hypnotherapist, right after this.
One of the most fun times was